What's up, Dirty Cones? Whew. That's a sigh of happiness, not a sigh of like, what a day. It has been a great Air Force day. Sometimes those are few and far in between. Sometimes those are, all the time. Definitely good outnumbers the bad, but I don't know. Dark times for America lately. But today, let's see, the team had their final Abyssmas, their Black Thursday, their coming to God, their great challenge, their dare to be great situation. I was at the pool, I was swimming, I could smell the fear, it was permeating, it was deep. Cones and fear. I mean, I guess that's an oxymoron because cones are always fearful. But I was like, what are you guys doing? They had that look. I'm like, you guys don't have anything to be afraid of. I said, this is an awesome opportunity. And I said, when it's done, you will feel better for it. And, people who aren't with you today will hold their manhoods cheap. And I read to them the St. Christmas Day speech from Henry V, which I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's one of my favorite. It made me, I'd have put on my ABUs and VC and jumped in the pool with them if I could have. That's how exciting that is. I think when you hear something like that, or you read the Travis letter from the Alamo, or you hear about things like that, you're like, yeah, man, who wouldn't want to go? And it's not that, you want to die or something. It's just, you love life and you appreciate life. And by appreciating life, you understand that sometimes you got to give it up. So I think that it was a pretty exciting day. So I helped pump them up a little bit, which is, very anti-abyss-ish. But, what the hell? Sometimes you got to... Alright, remember that. Sorry, I was trying to let the guy in, and he didn't want to go. And, which, another quick point, security or safety beyond a point becomes cowardice. So, there's nothing wrong with being safe, being, alright, can we go? But if you don't go, you don't deserve it. So, gotta go, wasn't my point at all. I got sidetracked. I gotta stop. So, a lot of questions. I think that's half my talks with you guys are questions and answers. I should just dress up like a dog and pony and go to the circus and prance around. So back to the crow question. Let's see. I don't know. I'm a firm believer in friends don't let friends go crow. Just because I've seen many a good PJ ruined by becoming a crow, but it's just my opinion. There are plenty of good crows out there. It just for me, being a crow, being an officer, it just puts you one step closer to the desk. And one step closer to the desk is one step closer to the grave, and I just can't do it. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me. But I understand, it appeals to some people, and so there's nothing wrong with being a crow. Crows are advocates for pararescue and SEER. They're the overall commander on, what's going on. Which is funny. I'm doing the history lessons right now for the rewrite for lesson plans, and this lesson plan was trying to explain how the crow is the commander, and that the PJ is he's in charge. So they're like, you need to realize the subtle nuance between command and in charge. So Crow says, overall, this is what we're going to do, and it's up to the PJ, the NCO, the team leader, to make it happen. So it's, in Big Blue Air Force terms, it's tactical versus operational. But the way it's trying to explain this subtle nuance to me seems very humorous, because I think think that's a big problem that we have, is that, you know, okay, yes, you're in charge, you're an officer, but I've been doing this job for, 18 years, so, and you've only been doing it for 6 years, maybe, so it's like, how are you, yes, you have more rank, but how are you going to tell me how to do my job that I know very well how to do? And so you get that problem with, sometimes with people in charge. I mean, shoot, as a senior airman, I've seen senior airmen be the team leader and run stuff, and staffs and techs and masters are like, all right, that's what we're doing. It's the most qualified person, the most, and that's the beauty of pararescue, is it's not always about rank. It's about, it's commensurate with who you are and what you're able to do. And sometimes people get a little rank conscious and forget that fact, or lose that fact. And so that's been a big problem with combat rescue officers and PJs, and I don't like it. I think that you gotta check your ego at the door and realize, we're trying to do a mission, and you're not necessarily the most advanced person or with the ability to say what we should or shouldn't do, but because you've got that rank on your shoulder that you do, and I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that, and that's what pararescue's always been pretty good at. But you get a lot of cross trainees and people coming into the Air Force, and they muddle the waters, bring in their big blue ideas, and they don't realize, that, hey, we've been doing this for, 60 years now. Well, not me personally, but pararescue. And it's about the smartest person doing the rightest thing, not about, well, I'm in charge because I got more rank. So, you gotta forget that kind of stuff. Leave that at the door. And, I don't even know, I'm probably the treason, Maroney and his traitorous statements against the Air Force, but I think common sense goes a long way, and there is not a lot of common sense, not only in the Air Force lately, but in the world. And so it bugs me. And I don't know if this will be my crow talk. This might just be my issues with the Air Force today. I guess, which sounds funny. I think this is a good thing, because I was talking to some people about this today. So say you and I come in the Air Force at the same time, or maybe I even came in before you, or you came in before me, but you put on rank faster than I do. You're a fast burner, you're smarter, blah blah blah, and and you're in charge, but I've been in there longer, and it's like, sometimes you gotta, they're 30-year-old A1Cs, with degrees, and doctorates, and that's hard, when you're used to not having someone telling you what to do. It's always been a big reason why I like pararescue, because I don't like telling people what to do, and I don't like people telling me what to do. We just make it happen. And I think that's a big part. Check the ego. Get rid of the ego. It's not about you or me. It's about hacking the mish and making sure people get home. And I think that's what's important. And so how we do it, we do it the best, safest way as possible. But it's not, when we rescue somebody, it's not like, oh, look, I did this, I did that. It's we did that. It's a team effort. And, if you start worrying about who you are and stuff, I think that you forget, what we're doing. And, a real smart gentleman told me today, he's like, he was a ranger, and he was like, I wasn't the way I was because I was a ranger. I was a ranger because of the way I was. You know, it's all about, you brought that character, you brought that determination. You already knew that, and you know, and being a ranger, being a controller, being a PJ, it translated into, that's why you're able to do that job, because you have those characteristics that are so badly needed, especially today. You know, I mean, I've said this before, nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants, you know, to be doctors or lawyers or, you know, anything, engineers, anything that requires, like, oh, man, I gotta get up early and go to school, and I gotta do this and do that. There's no commitment, you know, because, you know, with our ADD, there's just no time for that. But that's what we need. Like, you need that drive, desire, and commitment to make stuff happen. And what's funny is, you know, when you're younger, you think, oh, it'll get better, or, you know, it can't get worse, or, you know, sooner or later you'll stop being challenged every day, and, you know, life will get easier. One, in this day and age, I don't think anything's ever going to be easy again. There's just too many people and not enough jobs. But two, as you get older, it doesn't get any easier. You know, it's, be happy with where you're at and the stress and the problems you got now, because you're going to have kids someday, and they're not going to listen to you, and you're like, what the hell? Like, why can't you see what I see? Why can't you understand that you got to get an education, that you need to do this and do that before you can do this, you know? One of my favorite times during Katrina, I got busted because my sideburns were too long, and they gave me this hokey crap about, well, if we can't trust you to have your sideburns within regs, you know, how can we trust you to do the mission properly? And I thought it was BS, and it actually worked better for me, because then I got to go do all the rescues instead of watching somebody go down the hoist. I got to go do all the hoist work, because as a PJ, the more you're in charge, the more you get to watch somebody else do all the rescues and have a good time. So it was a blessing in disguise. I had a great time because I got to go rescue people. But at the same time, it was slightly humiliating, and, you know, they're like, what happened? You're a team leader, right? Yeah. Well, why aren't you team leading? Because my sideburns are too long. And they were like, what? But I had a great time, because they actually put me with one of my buddies, and he was like, alright, I guess you get to do all the work. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, I get to do all the work. And I was just picking up people left and right and having a blast. So that is one time where not following the rules, I guess, worked out. But usually, you know, so we can't trust you to do the small things, we can't trust you to do the big things. And so trying to teach my son that, he doesn't get it. And, you know, so I'm like, but, you know, I'd trade almost any, I'm happy where I'm at, but theoretically, to have to deal with his stress, you know, all I gotta do is go to school, all I gotta do is, you know, he's on the track team, whatever, do that, like, there's no stress. Whereas, you know, like me, I'm like, I gotta feed him, I gotta clothe him, I gotta go to work every day, blah, blah, like all that, you know, that's the stresses you get when you get old. And you guys, you know, when you hit 18, you know how it is. You move out of your house and you're like, what do you mean we can't afford to turn on the electricity this month? Or where's, oh man, we don't have enough money? Shoot, what are we gonna do? You know? And, so, but that's, you know, the crucible, there's only one way to make a sword strong, and it's by putting it in the heat and pounding that thing. And the only way you're going to become a strong cone, to become a strong PJ, is by, you know, pounding in the heat. It's all part of the process, and it changes a little bit. I mean, you know, you're not getting pounded and beat up as badly as you are when you're younger, but there are different ways you get pounded and still tested, and the metal is still, so you're never really a finished sword. I mean, in theory, you're like, oh yeah, you know, I was pounded here and tested here, and here I am. But, you know, I'm here to tell you that the challenges don't stop. And if they do, then you're probably dead, or you're not living a life worth living anyway. A good quote today was from Helen Keller, and it was, you know, I would rather live 20 years on my feet than 100 years on my knees. And that something about every day that's not amazing isn't a day worth living. And I'm not totally, the last part of the quote might be off, but I definitely know the first part of the quote is, and anyone that knows me knows that I mess up stuff. But the theory, the basis is, you know, paradise lies under the shadow of the sword. And if you're not enjoying life and appreciative of what you got, then, you know, it's being wasted on you. So don't waste life. And so every day accept that challenge. Don't be afraid of Black Thursday or an Abyssmas. Be like, yeah, it's Abyssmas. I'm gonna celebrate it. You know, I wish this would suck more. I wish. I mean, I still do my underwaters, but they're all by myself now. They're peaceful underwaters. I just do my underwaters and keep on going and, you know, zen out and whatever. But sometimes it's nice to get yelled at, you know, and realize, you know, what's going on. I definitely think that it makes you appreciative of what you got. And I'm a big firm believer in being appreciative of what you have. And so, hey, if anybody is in the San Antonio area and you aren't doing anything tomorrow morning is the 179th anniversary of the fall of the Alamo. And they do a nice little ceremony way too early. I think you want to be there about 5:30 in the morning, and it's going to be cold, but I think that's alright. So they do a little ceremony, and, you know, it's solemn, and I think, I don't know, it's kind of like going to church. You know, it's suffering, but the men who died there suffered a whole lot more, so suffering for a little bit isn't that bad of a thing. So if you're in San Antonio tomorrow and you know, you don't have to be anywhere at 6 a.m., be at the Alamo 5:30, and you know, let's remember brave men and tell stories and be solemn and proud that, you know, we live in America and it's free, and it's because, you know, good men died so we can be free. So, you know, remember Jason Cunningham, remember John Chapman. They died yesterday, in 2002. Life's a beautiful thing, and I think it's very important. And so I think that you should be appreciative of it. So, I mean, if you can't make it, you can't make it, I understand. But if you're not doing anything, you know, little mental toughness for some suffering, you know, might go a long way. It builds character, and I don't think anyone has cornered the market on character. I mean, because you can always learn. I mean, that's why I'm going to, you know, pay my respects, and so I don't know. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everything's good. Yeah. So, Hooyah. Have a good day. Happy Abyssmas. Happy Thursday. Happy Black Thursday. Hope the team did well. Hope they enjoyed my little Hooyah speech. I enjoyed it. It made me want to join with them. And if you get a chance, I'll put the link down below, but Henry V, St. Crispin's Day speech. If you were not moved by that speech, then I don't know. Maybe you have no heart, no soul, and I think that's important for these kind of jobs. You need a reason, and the reason is, you know, that flag, this country, the man next to you. So thanks again for listening, and hooyah.